Witness history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.
Well, g'day everybody. It's the 28th of May, and it's a beautiful day here in Marina in Fiji. Still on the hard. We're not rocking around yet, but I finally got to work on the boat yesterday for about 3 hours. So I've sort of polished about that much of the boat, and it's like, ooh, beautiful. We got a dark blue hull, a gel coat hull. The boat's 20 years old or 22 years old. And they always fade off. It's just like chalk, you wipe your hand along and you get all the blue come off. So anyway, that's we can take 3 days or so to buff the whole lot and polish it. Then we can go back in the water. We've got solar panels working now because it's sunny days, so that's cool. And I tend to waffle on a bit while I'm waiting for everyone to come on because I know people like seeing it live. And I was just thinking this morning, I'm a bit late. Oops, a daisy. I don't want that. So I got to get rid of that. Nope, not that one. I want that one. There we go. This is Trekka. This is John Guzzwell actually building his boat. And we don't probably talk enough about, John Guzzwell sometimes. He's the patron. Of the Mini Globe race, and the whole family's watching what's going on as well. And I've got to say that anyway, so I'll just talk about this first, the photos. That's when he's actually building, and it's the same sort of deal. I mean, everyone's built their 580 going around, so it starts from a point of reference, which is really quite interesting. Beautiful boat, built in the back of a fish shop, and that's what he achieved. Built this classic little boat and took off in 55, 3 years around the world, 4 years around the world, and had an absolute ball, lots of adventures in between. A lot of people don't realise he left the boat in New Zealand and joined the Smeatons around the world, or not around the world, going around Cape Horn, but they got pitch poled and dismasted, and all sorts of interesting little things happen. And it's a strong story for me, but it's an absolute gigantic story for Graham Cox, and I thought he's actually coming across anyway, and we'll get to talk to him a lot about John Guzzwell and the whole adventure of what's going on. Does that look like a familiar photo? It's black and white, but that's exactly the same as the photos we're getting off the 580s. He sort of looks like he's got twins there, poled out, for running downwind in the trades and so on. Got the mizzen down to keep the pressure off the back of the boat so it doesn't slew around. And he can just continue on. When he got, I think it was New Zealand, he actually he basically designed and built his own wind vane self-steering system. And it was an idea that came from watching all the pond yachts, people sailing their little model yachts, model sailboats on ponds in the park. And they all have this sort of like wind vane set up to keep the boat steering on track and so on. And he thought, I could put that on my boat. So he did. And so he did have a bit of a wind vane on the second half of the trip, but I've actually never. Graham might have one there. I've never actually seen a photo of that system to see what it looks like. I think it's all wind based. There it is today. It's been restored. It did another couple of trips around the world again with another couple and so on. So quite an amazing little boat. In fact, I did catch up. There was a guy that called in on a yacht here in Vuda that's actually got a Trekka, not the Trekka, but he's got a Trekka in New Zealand. And I wanted to talk to him, but I didn't see him, and I think he's already gone. Anyway, great story for later on. And as I say, Graham's coming over here to Fiji, so he'll be here for the last week before the restart. And not only will he be talking to the entrants just to meet them all for the first time, he will, we'll do some stuff with him as well and do interviews talking about the Guzzwells. They actually gave us a really nice donation, and I'm feeling a bit embarrassed. Just before the start, we'd keep, through Graham, we were keeping him updated on what it's all about, and how it's in the inspiration of all small boat voyages, but particularly John and Trekka being the first small boat, effectively a mini, to get around the world solo. And they've given us a donation, and we're going to plan something with that donation for in a perpetual sense with the trophy or whatever, because we've got a model of Trekka which we'll use for the perpetual trophy, but we've got to do something. And I once we make that decision, I'll write to them. But I said to Jane last night, I said, "Oh, I've got to bloody do it. We're so many months into it already." So we'll make a decision on what's going to happen there. But it's fantastic to have the connection with the Guzzwell family and the kids and so on. And we've given them lots of little bits about the race. You know, they've got the mini globe race coin, the official coin, and we gave them one of the bulkhead plates. You know, the big bulkhead plates that you can see. I should show you that. Can I show you? These are all our, without showing you the mess down low. I don't know whether you can see that. These are. You see that? These are all our bulkhead plates. That's the first one's the Golden Globe race. The next one's the third edition of the Golden Globe, which is the second one we ran with Joshua on the coin. I can't see what you're seeing here. Yeah, and then the next one was the Ocean Globe race, and the next one we started doing plates for the Transat, and that's the bulkhead plate for the mini globe race there, all the way around the world, which is pretty cool. Anyway, so we pressed the wrong button again. Hang on. Plug that back in. We digress here. I'll get rid of that. And I'll hit this. So thanks to the Guzzwell family for that. And I'm looking forward to spending some time with with Graham rather. I actually haven't seen Graham in person in fact, Graham will remember, I can't remember the last time we met. It was probably 10 years ago or something. We bump into each other all over the place at different times, and great guy. I absolutely love his long weekly reviews. Now they're not short. I haven't opened the one for this week. He's just put it up last night. 6,000 words, whatever. Believe me, if you haven't read one, because people don't read these days. I don't read as much as I used to, and I didn't read the first couple that he did because I was just so busy. Until like a week or so later, and when I read it, you've got to be kidding me. It is fantastic, not only because of the writing style, just the information that he's put into the one place. You really can get a sense for what's going on, because he does a forensic analysis of everything. He's probably watching this, not right now, he'll watch the replay, but he watches what goes on every tracker. He scans all the entrants' social media. He has the conversation with them every week or so with each of the entrants to get all the inside information. Those conversations are on the SoundCloud, and it's a very interesting insight. So the book is going to be fantastic. It's not just going to be those; it'll all be put together. But boy, and I've mentioned a few times, it's a world first. No one's ever done anything like that. It's all about social media. It's all about lives, and we do a documentary, and others do as well. All that sort of stuff. But I've never seen anything like it, and it's the best way to actually get the inside story. It takes about probably 15 minutes or more, maybe sometimes 20 minutes to read it. But if you really want to get the feel for what's going on, I can't stress enough how good they are. So thanks for that, Graham. Yeah, Graham's a reinvented person over many different aspects. But he did I'll let you tell him when we talk him eventually. Not a master's in writing, but he actually went and did creative writing at university or whatever it is, and it really shows. It's just so good fun to read. Anyway, we've got a few people there, and you're probably busy as well, so we will cut straight to the tracker I come across here. Oh, I actually heard from John. He probably obviously saw what's going on, and it's highly likely that John may not be continuing because he hasn't had much luck with trying to raise funds. Once you get to Fiji, right, for Australians, there's a big decision to make, because you can hang around if you're finished with the MGR for whatever reason, you can hang around here, and it's not too bad to get back to Australia, right? But to carry on, you're committing yourself to all sorts of extra expenses and timelines. You've got to carry on with your expenses on the way around. There's not a lot of Marina fees and everything like that from here, but you got to have food and bits and pieces. But when you end up at the end in Antigua, after all of that, assuming you make it to the end, touch wood, you've got your boat on the other side of the world, and it's another shipping job to get it back. A couple of boats in 40-foot container is probably going to cost you, 15 grand or something. So a lot of expenses, and that's their biggest decision at the moment. As you know, Popeye's already declared that he's not going beyond Fiji, and John looks like it might be the same because he hasn't raised the level of funding he needs. Anyway, they've just so that's not an official one yet. He says he's going to do a video to sort of explain and update everyone. I haven't seen it up on social media yet. And then we'll have a chat. He said, yeah, let's do a live or something. But they'll be into the Marquises. They've turned the corner and heading up to their port of entry, and they could just about be there. So that's John's situation from yesterday. And the cat guy arrived in Hawaii. Huge fanfare, all that sort of stuff. So I think he needs to, I'm not sure whether he's posting on YouTube. We've got 1.7 million followers. If he's posting on YouTube, he'll be making a lot of money, a couple of $100,000 a month. But he's just done a anyway, done a few things. So anyway, but he got there, so kind of cool. Anyway, let's go over here and look at the tracker. So you're on the tracker there. So am I now. I'm on the tracker, and I'll just squeeze it up. This is starting off from the back of the fleet, and yeah, they're already in. Okay, so they would have just got in. They were still a few miles out on the previous post. So, and I think this is just a delayed timeline. Yeah, 1200. So, still moving at 2.7. So they're not quite in yet. Okay, so they're getting very close. So they're both just arrived. We'll come right down and show you where they are. So this was only a position 15 minutes ago. So 15 minutes ago, they're John and Popeye will be alongside each other. So they'll be in the next hour or so. Not very far to go at all. And then they'll be happy to be there. They'll be very happy to be there. I'm interested in the story of why they did the Cook's tour of the other place. So they're only a couple of miles out. Yep. So it'll be happy days for them. And their engines should work because they've both got 2 outboards now, each. But anyway, so hopefully their engines are working. And it looks like they did the whole trip on the back of the boat. Unbelievable. Okay, so we don't have to worry about the weather there and all that sort of stuff. We'll cut straight to the rest of the fleet. But they'll, when I had this WhatsApp conversation with John, they're very happy. They've had lots of little fun adventures, and I'm sure we'll find out very soon what's going on. There was a word post while we're going down there. There was a word post from Renaud, a little short one, no pictures or anything, just saying, "Oh, that's the end of the bits and pieces. More hard work, more storms." And is it going to get a lot tougher as they go forward? And yes, it may well do. There's trade winds around here, but as we've always said, we're just waiting for the weather to come up. The weather on this leg is and can be quite challenging. So there's the fleet. We've still got Josh and Gary in there having a nice time, and everyone else is on a roll. It looks like a pretty picture there, okay? But as most of them are saying, it's can be quite tough. They're having to earn their miles. And Kerry's, you just got to look here. Look, there's a few little zigs and zags. Oh, his name's blocked it out, but Renaud came down, popped out, boom, boom. So Kerry's zigzagged up, didn't want to get caught down low on the calms ahead. So plenty going on. And let's have a look. Jasmine, 4.2, 104 mile day, which is pretty good. Looks like you're trying to pass Entrant, 4.3, 103 mile day. So Jasmine picked up a day. Not a day, a mile in the last 24 hours. Adam, 5.5, 115 mile day, a bit more of a breeze. Jacob, 5.3, 108 mile day. And Eric, 4.8, 101 mile day. Now, Eric, I get a daily update. He's the only one that's doing it. So his manager is fantastic. I'm just going to get it on here. And I'm just going to, wrong one. Push it. I'm just always threatening to read. Brenda does a great job. I've got 2 little video clips here from him as well, which we'll put up today with a compilation of all the rest of it. Update from day before yesterday was Tahiti to Tonga. A good 24 hours, around 10 to 15 knots. The evening was stronger, maybe 120 miles a day. That's cool. Last night it was Tahiti to Tonga. Go everybody. Hope you're doing all well. Lots of big swell at the moment, pushing the little 580 around. We're coping okay, 120 nautical miles in the last 24 hours, trying to stay at my current latitude to get a good passage. So I get that sort of message every day here, which is really good. And I've got 2 great little videos. But yesterday you probably saw, I think we had 3 or 4 video clips from Kerry, for instance. We've got all these other things going on. So we might, on a daily basis, just grab copies of all the clips, put them up in one clip and get them up. So it's easy to find a lot, and it's interesting to see comparisons with what's happening to each of the entrants. So let me put that in there as well. Okay, so that's Eric, as I said, 110-mile day. Christian, happy birthday, Christian. I'm hard at keeping up with the birthdays. I'm not a big birthday boy. I very rarely, in fact, I get in a lot of trouble with Jane about that. But anyway, we try. Jane's got 3 birthdays. You might not believe me, but I tell you what, it's true. She's got 3 birthdays, and whichever one I pick, it's wrong. She'll scream out in a minute. But anyway, that's another story. So Christian, happy birthday. 5.2 knots and 121-mile day. That's powering along, doing okay there. And Dan Turk, 5.1 knots, 92-mile day, softening off as we go forward. What's Kerry up to? 4.6 knots, 84-mile day. So 84 is still dying as they get further along. Peeler, 90 miles in the 24 hours and 4.2 knots. So, yep, a bit softer. Dan, 3.4, 83. So they're all pulling sort of 80, 90 miles. And Renaud, 72. Yep, he slowed up a bit because it's not much wind. 2.8 at the moment. So, but still moving pretty well. I was surprised how well they moved yesterday. So that's okay. I'll get rid of that. I've got all these screen pop-ups coming in. Okay, let's just have a look at currents while we're here, just to see if anything's looking interesting. Oh, there's a bit of a head current there. Renaud's picked it, missed it, so that's okay. The others have got average stuff, nothing really to worry about. The sea may still be up, dying down slowly. Yeah, there's a good 2.5 meters there, so and 2 meters where Renaud is. Kerry's probably got 2.5 maybe, and the other guys at the back have got a bigger sea. That's what Eric's been talking about. But that's all dying down, so that's good. But when you've got a 2-meter sea still sloppy with light winds, it's not much fun. And cloud-wise, yeah, it's still a little overcast in areas, so but not too dramatic. If we scale that back, it'll give us an idea of what's happening with this system. There's a bit of a trough there with no wind, but the system's dropped right down south, so that's okay. We'll pull it up one and then work the weather forward. There's Tonga on the far left of the screen, Papiaco over the other side. So we'll now just punch that through every few hours. The wind swings a bit for Renaud and everyone coming from behind. Everyone's in the wind gradient now. The calm areas are down below. Kerry's going to go a little bit calmer than the rest, so might lose out a little bit there. This thing down the bottom between Dan and Renaud down the bottom, you can still see it's a system that's distorting the wind. It's trying to do something, but it's not doing anything, and it's disappearing, so that's fine. Okay, so they're back to trade winds now by the look of it. And here we go into the, that's the first 24 hours. Let me just see this one. The time is 27, yeah, 8, 9. So this is the second day. It's looking pretty good. They're going to make pretty good time, and it looks reasonably stable. There's a bit of a puff there, and there's a bit of a distortion. So when you see that, when you've got the trades pushing along like this and you get a distortion up there, it's got stronger winds, then something's happening which may swing the wind around a bit in squalls more than anything, but no shortage of breeze here. So whilst Kerry will slow down a bit, Renaud will have smoother seas and a little bit less wind. Kerry will have a bit more wind, so the seas will be up, but it's on the quarter a bit rather than right behind, which is favourable. And the others are all in pretty reasonable trade winds. So the next few days are going pretty well. I'm going to push this off to a couple of other days. Yeah, the wind is just north of the rum line, so they're all staying in the right spot. They're all obviously getting their weather forecasting, but you can see going through to the first, the second, and so on. It's pretty good. So hopefully the weather will settle down for them. here we go to the 31st. I'll check the waves there. It should die off because there's, oh no, wow, look at that. Oh, okay. You never know what to expect. Anyway, so by the time they get along, the sea's going to pick up again. That's surprising. There must be a big system down here. There's something going on. It looks like it's our way as well. Over in, no, it's interesting. So it's just the seas being building from consistent trade winds. It's not a big thing from down here. Nothing over there. So that's just a trade wind sea. So all good. Okay, I think we're done on that. I don't want to draw it out, so I'm coming back here. We'll get rid of the tracker, so I come on there, and we'll say good day to everybody. G'day, John. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that sort of stuff. Post a pic of your hull. Okay, yep, I will do. Oh, in fact, today or tonight or sometime, we've taken a whole pile of pictures of Marina, just to give you a feel for what's going on. Even last night's dinner, because it's Tuesday night. Tuesday night's half price pizza. The pizzas are huge and they're loaded, and they're 50% discount on Tuesday nights. Every day here in the Marina, there is something going on over at the restaurant and stuff. There's happy hour one day, obviously, and then they put specials on for lunch. Lunches are cool. You get a really cool lunch here for 14 Fiji dollars, which is like less than 10 Australian dollars. So it's like it's cheap, and you get a really good meal, and it's right there. You'll be able to step the guys and girls on their boats can step off their boat and walk for about 10 meters, and they're actually in the beautiful gardens and overlooking the boats and the restaurants there, the bars there, all that stuff. It's very cool. So there'll be a Marina post. We'll put some pictures in there of the boat and show you what I'm doing today. In fact, this is really annoying because I should have been up there an hour ago. I should start work at 7 o'clock, but I've got to do this at 8 o'clock because it's cooler and the sun's coming from the port side, and I want to polish the starboard side now in the shade because I can't do the other side till then. But so I won't get started until 9 o'clock. It's like a 9 to 5 routine. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get there. So g'day, Christine. Oh yeah, you're on the boat on the Russell 36 heading towards Tonga. Very cool. Reality Adventures. I've touched Trekka when she was in the museum in Victoria. Fantastic. Haven't washed my hands since. Such an inspiration. G'day, Jake. Yeah, too true. There's been some challenges. Some people have been unable to find it and find the boat because it was in storage for a while, which is understandable. They didn't have anywhere to display it. Then they put it in a terminal, like a cruise terminal. So if you're coming in on a cruise ship, you come off and you see Trekka there. And I forget the status now, but as I say, Graham is the expert on that. And we are, the museum now is aware of the mini globe race, and we are in strange little ways promoting that whole story because that's the ethos and the whole sort of concept of what we're doing. And that's why I always say every one of the entrants is individual voyages. Yes, it's a race, and it really is a race for a big part of the fleet, and the rest of it's just wow, we're going around the world under the guise of the mini globe race, so it's all kind of fun. But it'll be cool. One day I'm sure I will actually get to see Trekka. Something tells me I'll be up there and have a look. And yeah, quite cool. So thanks for that, Jake. G'day, Shannon. I'm excited to meet him too. He's a very interesting soul. Oh, that's Graham. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. One of the world's gentle giants. Yep, his writing's unreal. You mean YT sailing with Phoenix? Yeah, that's the Oliver. I've been following him loosely for months. Yeah, crazy story. He really has a unique style. We've spoken about it, and I kind of like it. A lot of the things that I see sometimes because everyone's trying to do something first. We're in a first with around the world with a mini globe race, but the first person to do this across the Atlantic, the first person to do that across the Atlantic, blah blah blah. But he's pretty cool. He's pretty simple concept and style, and it's pretty genuine, and I think that's a big part of what's happening. Although shock horror, I saw his boat. Jeepers, this is typical. When it's cool, I'm not complaining, but he sailed all the way across the Atlantic with his rigid tender stuck on the foredeck, and I hate that. I could never sail a boat with a bloody boat on the bow because you've got to go up there and start working. But what do you do if you've got a rigid tender, which is a cool thing because inflatables cost a lot and they don't last long. But why not? go across the Atlantic with a tender. That was the funny part when Jane and I sailed from Papeete to here. I've never owned a boat with a bimini before. We got a Beneteau, and of course it's got the usual bimini up the top, and because we sailed all the way with the bimini up. I said, "Are you kidding me? This is nuts." But it's that sort of weather and those sorts of oceans. And sometimes, I've seen boats get into trouble in the Southern Ocean between Cape Town and Australia. I've seen it twice, and they're in real trouble. And they got their bloody bimini up in the Southern Ocean, and they've got an inflatable in davits on the back of their boat. And it's like, holy shit! If they've seen what a lot of people have seen in the Southern Ocean, you would never do that. So anyway, but yeah, he's a cool dude, and he's inspiring a lot of people. I don't mind him at all. I think it's really good to watch. It's fun, very funny. So good on him. Greetings from G'day Nigel, G'day Rachel, and I'm Canadan's knockdown video recently. I was Canadan's. I am. Any follow up? No, not at all. In fact, I'm going to talk to the guys again, guys and girls out there, because what's happening is they're falling for the most common trap that everyone does, right? They're talking about it rather than showing it. Now, I know it's not easy to film everything when it gets tough, but I got to tell you, it's one thing to talk about, it's one thing to show people what's going on. So I'm going to remind them, and I've done this many times already, but I'm going to remind them, they need to have a GoPro that's ready to go, push the button, turn it on, with a head mount or some sort of mount right by the companionway. So if they're down below and they're going to go out on deck and all hell's breaking loose, all they've got to do is stop for like about 10 seconds and put the thing on their head and turn it on and then get on with it, right? Or if you're sitting there and it's shit, it's blowing 45 knots outside, get the camera, open the hatch while you're filming, pick the camera up, open the hatch and squeeze it out and stick your arm outside and check that out. Holy dooly, it's, you got to get the footage to make it more exciting for us viewers that are watching. That's always the challenge. And you can certainly do the monologues when you're sitting there and say, oh, the other night I did this and this did that, and yesterday it was da 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 da. But as a filming technique, if you've got that footage as well, what happens is it doesn't matter what the footage is, just to get you out there, you get all the footage. And then when you're doing the monologue and you're talking for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you just get that little snippets of vision and you edit it behind the conversation. So instead of looking at you talking all the time or the person talking all the time, they have a little snippet there when the head sail is coming down or while they're working on the mainsail or while they're hand steering, things like that. Because that's exactly what I thought when Dan's talking about it. He's there by the hatch. I wanted to see it, But it was good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. But, yeah, there's no follow-up yet on Dan's knockdown and all that sort of stuff. But it would have been fantastic if he had filmed it, or the aftermath or in the middle or even while he's talking, just open the hatch, stick his hand out. Makes it more fun for us armchair sailors, when it's happening. But it makes a lot of sense. So if I'm sure we'll hear about it when he gets into Tonga or wherever. He might bring it up again now. But the boat's all cool. Interesting. Kerry, it's funny. The entrants are watching each other's social media posts now. So Kerry came up and put a comment alongside Dan's video there in the comments and saying, oh, jeepers, sounded pretty bad, Dan. I hope you're all okay there. And, yeah, they're a pain in the ass, or something like that. And so on. So now you've got this situation where they're watching each other on social media. So Starlink is changing everything. It's a real game changer for the better of this sort of stuff. It's kind of cool. Okay. G'day, Hedwig. Happy birthday to Christian. Yeah, he's having a big one out there. So that's birthday to remember. So all good. Okay. Am I serious about riding a cat on board? Absolutely. The next MGR, I'm going to write it into the notice of race. Everyone has to have a cat, We had a guy that was going to enter the GGR and before he entered, he asked if he could take his cat as well. And I said, yeah, you can take your cat. It's not a problem, but he never did enter. But anyway, no, it's not serious. Just a conversation. So, okay, that's it. Got to get out of here. Nearly half an hour. I try to keep it to half an hour max now. So thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, and I can get on with my polishing.
It's history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.